It's late at night. All the lights are out. I'm in bed, but I'm still a little wired. So I'm going to tell you about an incident that happened earlier today. So, this morning I had a very interesting experience. I had a job interview. I got to the location like 10 minutes before interview time. I stepped out of my car, locked my car, and headed in the direction of the building. I heard this sound. Can you guess what that could possibly be? Oh, it was my wedge. My wedge heel, my right wedge heel became unwedged. Of course, at that time when it happened, it was not funny. So I had to make a quick decision. I have 10 minutes left, even though the location where the interview was supposed to happen is actually on the premises of a mall. I did not have enough time to get to a store and get a pair of shoes and get back in good time. So I decided, come hell or high water, I was going to have my interview. So I squared my shoulders, pulled my chin up, and headed towards the office. While I was walking, I passed a lady on the way and she was looking at me. So I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, "Good morning, how are you?" And just kept walking. And she's like, "I'm fine." And you? And I'm like, I could never be better. And I just kept walking. Clump. I just kept walking. Clop it. Oh my god. I got to the front door. I opened the door. Thank goodness when I walked in, I probably had like about 6 to 8 strides to make to get to the interview room. I greeted the man who was standing there. He asked me to just give him a second. I did not even reach over to the chairs because I did not want to clap it. I did not want to clap it, clap past them. So I just stood there and waited. And then when he said in this way, and he was kind of like directing me into a room, I said, "Oh no, you lead the way." Because I don't want him walking behind to see my thing. So he led the way and I went in. Fortunately, it was a small room, so I didn't have to walk across the room and I just sat in the first chair. I had my interview, which was a very good interview actually. Well, I did have a little bit of scare in the interview when he said that at the end of it he would give me a little tour, so I could see, what their setup is like. Thank God at the end of it, he must have forgotten that he had said this, and I certainly was not going to remind him. So as we walked out, he led the way. Thank goodness. There was one guy out there who he introduced me to. The guy walked over. Thank God I didn't have to walk over to him. We shook hands and then exchanged pleasantries, and then we turned around, and then the interviewer, he walked ahead of me and I was behind him. I exited the building through the front door. Then I glanced behind me and I could see him standing behind the door. And it is no doubt he saw my giant flip flop. I'm sure that poor man said to himself, what in the world is going with the lady's shoe? Of course, walking around in a shoe like that could become very hazardous because when I take a step, that unwedged part could veer to the side and I could twist my ankle, which would even be more devastating. I guess at that point, I would definitely have to come clean. This is one of the most embarrassing moments. Yeah, what an experience. Oh my goodness. That was my dilemma this morning when I arrived on location for my job interview and my shoe heel got broken. I had only 10 minutes to spare, so I had to make a decision whether I would go for the interview or whether I would try to get the meeting postponed. What would you have done had you been in my position? Would you have postponed? Would you have gone to the mall to get a pair of shoes in that short 10 minutes, which means you definitely run the risk of being late for your interview? Or would you have just gone in to the interview as I did? Please leave me comments below. Let me know how you would have handled this. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Well, actually, listening because it's dark. The lights are out. I'm actually in bed. But like I said before, I'm still a little wired. So I decided I would do this video. So I will catch up with you guys some other time. Take care. Bye bye.